11th century Europe was ruled by the Church, which held a firm grip on the hearts and minds of the people. This power enabled Pope Urban II to wage war on the Muslim Caliphate and crusade in what he called a War of the Cross, to recapture the land of Jerusalem. It had been under Muslim rule since the year 637, but in 1099 this rule was brought to a bloody and sudden end. 20 years after Jerusalem was taken, the Dome of the Rock was seized by a group of warrior monks calling themselves the Knights of the Temple of Solomon, or more simply, the Knights Templars. In Jerusalem, the Templars began to deviate further and further away from the practices of Christianity. They learned the secret arts of the Kabbalah, an ancient form of Jewish magic, along with its dark rites and rituals. In 1314, Pope Clement V declared all Templars as heretics to Christianity, ordering all their properties to be seized. Their leader, Jacques de Molay, was captured and burnt to the stake. In 1717, the Templars made their reappearance in Europe. They had grown in both number and strength, and were now ready to coin a new identity, free from their reputation of the past. And the name they chose for themselves was a name that would be known by many, but understood by a few. This new name, the Freemasons.
The Freemasons are an organization which have their roots in ancient Israel, Banu Israel, from the earliest times.
This earth and humanity itself does indeed face a massive threat. It is not the threat of global terrorism or the threat of war. It is not the threat of environmental disaster or global warming. It is something more sinister, something that lies within. Different people blame different groups or conspiracies for these problems. Club of Rome, the Bilderbergers, Freemasons, Bohemian Club. Some say Zionists or the Vatican conspiracy. Some say Skull and Bones, and the list goes on. Well, the truth is that all of the above sources are in fact involved, each in its own way, and each carries out specific tasks. All these organizations are interlinked to one controlling body at the top, now widely known as the Illuminati.
Freemasonry now has been hijacked by them, and they're using it as a front organization so that they could stand behind.
You can think of Zionism as like the Special Ops Division of the Illuminati, which in turn has offshoots such as the Mossad and CIA. Organizations whose sole purpose is to undermine governments and create instability, and who control all global drug and human traffic trading, and who also control all other terrorist organizations down the food chain, such as Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, by the way, is an organization which is wholly invented and is nothing more than a database consisting of a list of names of mujahideen trained in terrorism by the CIA in the late 1970s. The words Al-Qaeda literally translate to the database in Arabic.
So you attack World Trade Center, but your fingerprints are not on the crime. You're behind. You attack the World Trade Center in 1991, and you put Sheikh Omar Abdurrahman behind bars, the blind sheikh. But the Jewish fingerprints are not on the crime.
9/11 missing links may be seen as an attack against Jews by some, but I think that it contains relevant and pertinent information concerning the true perpetrators of the 9/11 attacks.
You attack the U.S. mission in Tanzania, the U.S. mission in Kenya, Tanzania and Kenya, and you believe that we are blind. We know you did it. You attacked, but you blame Osama bin Laden for that.
All the world is a stage, and everything of importance that occurs on it is planned to happen that way. And it is through this Illuminati system of intertwining secret societies that the entire world is ultimately run.
And when you find out how all these people have been pulling together to foment so many of these things going on here, you should be forewarned. Because this is not just accidental history. This is conspiracy. People working together to do wrong. And by definition, a conspiracy is just two or more people planning in secret to do something wrong. And by that definition, there must be thousands, millions, maybe even billions of conspiracies going on all the time. But you mentioned something about what's going on. Oh, that's one of them conspiracy nuts. We've all been vilified by that label. Conspiracy nut is kind of like anti-Semite. It's just a buzzword to say they're onto us. They know who we are. They know what we're up to. Let's jump on them and vilify them, and that's the way they operate, through vilification. And if vilifying isn't enough, they'll trump up some charges. And if that's not enough, they send in the wet agents to spill some of your blood.
From the shadows, they have engineered every major war, revolution, and recession. They control everything you read, everything you hear, and everything you see. They have managed to indoctrinate an entire populace to their way of thinking and have infiltrated key positions in places of authority. And it is from the shadows that they have created a new political order, a new economic order, and more sinister, a new religious order. Their ultimate aim is total global domination, and they will stop at nothing to reach their goal. The goal that was outlined in a speech given by former President of the United States, George Bush.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
So then, who are the controllers and why? Why are they doing this to the human race? When these people already control all the money and all the resources and already start wars and famines at whim, why take it any further? What else is there to gain? Well, here's where explanations are decidedly more difficult, because even the Illuminati themselves say there is another unseen hand that controls even them. But suffice to say for now that the reality that we live in, what we perceive as being reality, is not reality.
It is also known that before the appearance of the Dajjal, a group of people will pave the way, setting up a system to prepare the world for his arrival. In other words, these forerunner to the Dajjal and their system will bear all the characteristics of the Dajjal, and he will be the final embodiment of these in human form. The one eye is one of the ways to recognize the Dajjal.
The grip of the entered apprentice is made by pressing the thumb against the top of the first knuckle joint of the fellow mason. The pass grip of the fellow craft is taken as in an ordinary handshake, and the mason presses the top of his thumb against the space between the first and second knuckle joints.
But guess what? One day, يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا. One day the earth will speak, and all your lies are now going to be exposed. And on that day we'll have confirmation for what we now suspect.
For as the earth cries out because of the corruption and injustice they have spread over the land, through the agonizing centuries of their domination, the world is witnessing the reawakening of an old warrior. Now, the Freemasons have another enemy to contend with, an enemy which they have thought that they have destroyed, an enemy that will never bow down to the evil and demonic plan of the Freemasons. That enemy is Islam, and against it they have declared war.